Hello and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, then a little introduction. This is a place to share stories, adventures, and everything I wish I had known before embarking on them. My name is Gina, and you're watching From Fiji to Here. Continuing on the series of what to know before getting preggo, today's video we are going to touch on baby registries. And when I say touch, I mean we are doing a deep dive. We've got our loungewear on, we've got coffee. Today's video is going to be a long one as we go through pretty much everything on a standard baby registry. I'll pop one up here, like a printable version, that I found, and we're just going to go through what we thought was necessary, what wasn't necessary, in hindsight, what we wish we had gotten, what we were fine not getting, or even things that we bought that we probably wouldn't if we had a do-over. Now, I'm kind of hoping that you're watching this series in order. If you haven't, I suggest you go back to watch the finances video so that you have your budget in order and you're aware of kind of where you fall on the spectrum. Obviously, car seats can range anywhere from $100 to up to $1,000. Same with strollers and cribs. So you kind of want to know where you fall on that spectrum because it'll help you identify whether there's an item that you, there's some items here that I'm like, oh, nice to have, but not a need to have. And depending on where you fall with your budget, it may be something that you can deem, yes, you would like to put that on your registry. For this video, I'm going to be using the Bye Bye Baby. This is not sponsored. That's just, we had a baby registry with them, so we're going to go with their registry list. And we're going to break it down into 7 categories because it is going to be a little bit of a long video. I do have notes to try and keep us on track, so we'll see. Essentially, the 7 categories are going to start with nursery and decor, baby gear and travel, nursing and feeding, bath and potty / toiletries, safety and health, toys and learning, and newborn essentials. In a previous video, I did touch on that even if you're not planning on having a baby shower, the benefits of having a baby registry and the discounts that you can get after baby's born, this can help you with things like if you choose to go with formula or you are put in a circumstance that you need formula or bottles. This is also helpful in regards to just the goodie bag that you get for signing up. Sometimes there's full-size items. We got soothers, we got full-size bottles, wipes, changing pads. So even just for the goodie bag, it's worth it in my opinion. That's enough of the intro. It's longer than usual, but let's just dive in. Grab your coffee, get cozy, just burn it for the long haul. Also, if this video isn't your thing, then see you next week. So first category, nursery and decor. The number 1 thing you'll see on a baby registry list is a crib. Right off the bat, maybe controversial, but Elisa never had a crib. We had a bassinet type thing that she absolutely hated. And then due to her travel situation, she slept in her pack and play. We were living with my parents for 6 months, so there wasn't much space in our bedroom that me, Dally, and Elisa shared. And then from there, we traveled and she just went from place to place, but her bed was always consistent, so I think that really helped for our situation. And caveat, even when we moved to Montreal, she was only in her crib for another, I think, month before we moved her to a floor bed. That being said, if you have a house or a place of your own, and you have a nursery, or a room where baby's gonna have to themselves, I do think it might be worth it to get a crib, to transition from the bassinet into the crib. If you're going to do that though, for budget purposes and longevity, I would get one of the cribs that can transition into a toddler bed just so you can get the most bang for your buck because cribs are expensive. If you're on a budget, you could go the route we went and just get a travel cot, just make sure it's safe for sleep. Going with the crib is a crib mattress. So most cribs that you buy don't actually come with a mattress, you have to buy that separately. If you get a travel cot, they do come with the mattress. So 2 to 3 waterproof mattress pads. So about this one, most mattresses nowadays are water resistant on the outside, so I don't know, I'd say maybe get 1. If there is an accident, you can just wipe down the mattress if it is that waterproof. If you happen to get a mattress that doesn't have that waterproof protective cover, then for sure you're probably going to want 1 or more. Just babies spit up, poop, pee, things like that. But yeah, we didn't have them. Matching quilt, dust ruffle, and valence. Honestly, I don't even really know what that is. I do want to point out that Health Canada recommends that your baby's crib should be empty, except for the mattress and the fitted sheet. So that includes crib bumpers. So I don't deem these necessary. A mobile. Okay, so this, we never had a mobile, but it would have been a great idea. But we didn't have a crib to attach it to. honestly, I've seen people put them above the changing table to help make changing easier and keep them on their back. But yeah, definitely not a need to have, but could be a nice to have. A dresser, must have. We purchased like a 2-in-1, so it's a changing station on top with the drawers on the bottom, and the changing table could be like unscrewed and removed to be used just as a dresser as she grows. Highly recommend getting a dresser for baby, at least just to keep everything in one space. And I would use it as like an investment piece that they can grow with. The problem I find with changing tables is that as they grow, you can't kind of use them, you know, when your child's 5, instead of having drawers if it's all just shelves. I mean, I guess you could, but if you're in a small space, a 2-in-1 changing table dresser makes more sense. Hutch or other shelving, we didn't get that. If you have space, if you have an entire room and you're looking to get like bookshelves or cubbies, things like that, like now that Elisa has her own room, we do have kind of like a cubby cabinet. But I would say that, like, especially for the first year of life, like, you could do without. Changing pad, some people I know have said this isn't necessary. I would say it is. You don't need a fancy one though. Like, just get a plain white one. It's gonna get dirty. There's gonna be poop on it. There's gonna be pee on it. But it just makes somewhere, like, even just having the lips, if you're gonna use a changing table, it helps if baby's kind of wiggly to stay on the space, and it's more comfortable than the floor. Also, if you're doing, so like I said, we shared a room with Elisa for the first like year. If you're going to change baby on the bed, it's easier to just put that down so that if there is a pee or poop accident, you know, you can just wipe that instead of having to change all of your bedding. That being said, changing pad covers. So these are to go on the like waterproof changing pad. We used them like once, and then it didn't make any sense to me why we were doing more laundry. Like, why we didn't just use the changing pad itself. Now we actually use like a twin size pillowcase. So we just use the matching pillowcase to her sheet set. Works like a charm. Changing table, like I said, if you get a 2-in-1 for the dresser, makes things easier. However, if you have like a 2-floor house, then maybe you do want a changing space, like a changing table downstairs where you have a dresser upstairs. Bassinet, we had one. She hated it. I do recommend getting one, but I would say secondhand, because keeping in mind that babies are normally only in a bassinet until about 3 months of age. The secondhand ones are going to be in pretty good shape. I mean, obviously do your research, ask questions if you have any, but they're only really getting 3 months out of it, maybe 6 months. You could also put baby right into a crib from the hospital, like that is also a thing. But again, Health Canada recommends that you room share for the first 6 months of life. 2 to 3 cradle or bassinet sheets. Just like your crib, you're going to want sheets for the bassinet if you have one. Just make sure that the bassinet sheets you purchase are the right size for your bassinet, because they do come in different sizes. Glider and ottoman, yes. 1,000 times yes. We went through the ringer trying to get ours because it was being shipped from Quebec actually to Nova Scotia. And we did go with like kind of a neutral color so that once it's out of the nursery, like it can be just a regular chair in our house. But I cannot tell you, like, I tell Dally on a weekly basis how worth every penny this chair was, for the amount of times that we've like been up all night rocking her in it. When she's sick, we've had nights where we had to sleep in it, and it just like, man, that chair, like, I'm going to like tear up, has so many memories, and it was worth every penny, hands down. I say yes. Plus, if you choose to breastfeed, like, you want somewhere that's like comfortable, and yeah, I would just say for us it's yes. Diaper stacker, I don't even know what a diaper stacker is. We literally used the top drawer of the dresser changing table. Wall hangings or decal, again, this is like it's not a need to have. If you're on a budget or space, don't worry about it. We, like, when Elisa finally got her own room, like, we did go ahead and get some. You can see her nursery / toddler room tour here. I'll link it. But definitely not a need to have. Storage baskets and bins. This, I would say, yes, hands down, just to keep you organized, but it doesn't have to be fancy. Like, you can get the dollar baskets at the dollar store to help you keep everything together. Yeah. Toy chest. Again, you can use any kind of bin or basket, an empty box even, but I do like having this just to pick up all her toys. And I feel like this is more for like toddler age, because when they're that little, they don't have that many toys, like, or the toys are bigger things that you can't put away in like a basket. Next up we have a lamp. So this, yes, because you like in the middle of the night when you have to go to feed, you don't want to be turning the overhead lights on and completely waking up baby. So a lamp does help to kind of keep that mood lighting per se. We do use the Hatch sound machine, which is actually the next point, a white noise machine. So the Hatch can double as both a sound machine and a nightlight. You can choose a bunch of different sounds, a bunch of different colored lights. And now that she's a toddler, like you can set the wake to rise so that like it goes green when it's morning. You don't have to get a sound machine. We have used one based on having such a small house. Like the sound machine is more so that we don't make a noise that wakes her up. Especially now, like her room is right beside the kitchen. So the sound machine helps block, like acts as a barrier for us. I know tons of people that were fine without a sound machine. It's just been helpful because we live in small vicinities. It's also helpful when you are traveling like on the go, because if they're used to it already, then it's something that can help block out like airport noise or restaurant noise. Like you can get portable sound machines, which we use the baby shusher. It literally just goes like shh, shh. Sounds fairly simple, but it was like a miracle worker when traveling. A hamper, I mean, you can use any hamper. Like you probably already have one around your house. If you're going to use a separate laundry detergent for baby, then it would be helpful to keep the laundry separate from yours. Not something fancy or that you need to buy a new one. Baby-sized hangers. I would say get at least one pack. We don't, like, when she was little, we didn't have a closet for her, so, like, we really didn't hang much. I'd get, like, one pack just for those one-off things that you want to hang up in the closet. Little chairs and tables. This is one of those things, like, your 6-month-old is not going to be sitting at a little chair and table. But if you have the space, I mean, yeah, if you have the space and an unlimited budget, go for it. Again, we got our second hand. We didn't get it until she was closer to 18 months, I'd say. And actually, it was a gift from my parents. But I don't know why this would be on like a baby registry per se. But again, if you have a house, you have the space, you do you. On to chapter 2, baby gear and travel. This is like my favorite chapter. So obviously the first thing that's going to come up is a stroller or travel system. Okay, this is one of the biggest decisions I had for my baby registry. I went back and forth, and actually it wasn't on my registry. We purchased our own. But because I was very, very particular, and it took me a while to convince myself that, like, yes, bite the bullet. This is the one that's meant for you. But there are so many factors, and I encourage you to take the time and do the research and to think about these questions before just saying, okay, I want this one, or this is the one that everyone has, so I should get this one. For us, this was a big factor because we don't have a car. If you plan on going out with baby even a couple times a week, your stroller system is a huge important piece in your life. It's an investment piece, really. And strollers can range anywhere from a couple $100s to thousands. So what are things that you want to think about when you're looking at strollers? The first thing you want to think about is, what is your primary use? Are you looking for something that you can just pull out of the back of the car when you're running into the store? Or is this your main mode of transportation that you're going to have to be taking on and off transit, metro stations, things like that? The second thing is, what season is your little one going to be born? This I found super relative, especially in regards to like getting the bassinet portion of the stroller. I really wanted one with Elisa, but honestly, I'm glad we didn't, because she was born in the winter here in Canada. And if we were going out, it was just so much easier to put her in, well, either A, she was already in a car seat because we were going into a car, or B, it was just easier to baby wear, which I'll go into a bit later. Our stroller would not have been able to handle the snowfall, and because that, as she got older, we did get a secondhand kind of just winter stroller, like a big jogging stroller, when we moved to Montreal, because the winters here are worse than Halifax, so we knew we needed a little something else. The third thing is like whether to get a travel system or no travel system. And So first of all, the difference. A travel system is where like it comes, you purchase it all together, or like the bucket seat that you can click into the stroller. Often you can purchase it as a set where it comes like the 3 pieces. You can also, I'm trying to think of how to word this. You can also make your own travel systems dependent on the brands. So for example, we had the Micro Cozy car seat and the Baby Zen Yo-Yo stroller. They're not a travel system, they're different brands. However, they do have kind of like a joint partnership, I guess, where you can get adapters. So we have adapters that click in, bam, bam, our car seat can attach to the stroller. This is something that you would have to have the bucket car seat for. Convertible car seats do not click out and into a stroller. So you want to think about that. We'll get to car seats in a bit. But if you don't, like if you're just getting a stroller for walking and just like not a travel system, maybe you do want to get the bassinet portion. Lots of things to consider. I would say for like budget wise and convenience wise, if you're going to get a bucket seat, to get a travel system that'll accommodate that bucket seat. It'll help if baby falls asleep in the car. If you're going to get a convertible car seat, then maybe go the bassinet route because your car seat can't click into your stroller anyways. Another thing to consider when getting a stroller is the weight and foldability of the stroller. Like I said, if it's just something that's going in your car for outings and things like that, you want to make sure that when it's folded, it fits in your car. Like you don't want it to not fit in your trunk. If you live in a 3-story walk-up, you want to make sure that it's light enough for you to be able to carry up those stairs. You got to think about your daily life and kind of how the stroller is going to impact it. So for perfect example for us, we live in Montreal. We do not have a car. We take the metro quite often. The Baby Zen Yo-Yo has been a lifesaver in that it folds up super easy to just put on my shoulder. So I have Elisa in one hand, stroller on the other, because not all metros have elevators. Along with that, an escalator. It is super lightweight, even with Elisa in it. I mean, she's getting bigger now, so it's kind of heavy. So to pick it up and walk it down the stairs isn't that big of a deal. Another reason I love it. Actually, I wish I had footage. Maybe if I go to the store again, I'll show you. Every day, like even every day, I'm like, wow, I really am glad we invested in this stroller. When we walk to the supermarket 15 minutes from our house, I can put Elisa in the grocery cart, fold the stroller up, and put it underneath the cart to do our shopping. These are things that, were a factor in what stroller we were choosing, and hands down have been worth every penny for this stroller. The last item about strollers is the investment versus options. So like I said, strollers can get very expensive. For us, it made sense to get it as an investment piece. Again, like I've said, there were so many factors about our life that we needed the stroller to accommodate. And that's just like our daily life. That's not including travel. Like the stroller is kind of branded as a travel stroller, but it's been so beneficial in our regular life as well. One of the factors that I didn't mention here, but that factored into our stroller, is the longevity. So our stroller can hold up to, I think it's about 40 or 50 pounds, which means a child can use it until 4 or 5 years of age. You want to think about things like additional pieces that you could add to your stroller. So if you wanted to have another child, can it have a little footboard? Can you do a footrest so that as your child gets older, they have somewhere to rest their feet? Height limits, weight limits. And if you're not going to go the investment route and think of all these things and find a stroller that accommodates all your needs, you're going to end up purchasing more than one stroller, and that can be even more pricey in the long run. Which, I mean, it's fine. You can purchase more strollers. I don't want to say that don't purchase more strollers, especially if you have family that's regularly looking after your child or things like that. Maybe it makes sense for you. I'm just saying what we did, and we're very happy with the decision. That was a long one. Umbrella strollers, the next one, kind of fits into the above. This makes sense, I think, if you do get a heavier duty stroller for winter or to be in the car. An umbrella stroller could be nice, especially as they get older, to just pop out around the park, or if you're traveling, but often you can rent them if you're traveling. A stroller foot muff. This is something I always look at and think that would be so convenient. But honestly, to be quite honest, it's definitely not a need to have for baby. blankets work just as well. If you're on a budget, you can use blankets. Stroller, rain cover, and sunshade. Just depending on your stroller, most of them have like a built-in sunshade. I guess not umbrella strollers, but yeah, something just to kind of hide the sun out of your baby's eyes. And a rain cover, like where we live, definitely a need. You don't know when it's going to start raining, and there's nothing like getting caught in the rain. Stroller netting. I don't have this. If you live somewhere that's often, I guess, buggy, it would be worth it just to avoid little one getting mosquito bites. Cup and snack holder for baby. This is another one of those, like if you have the storage and space for it, great, but definitely not a like need to have. They probably won't be using it until they're at least over the age of 1. And our car seat like wouldn't clip in if we had those attachments. You also want to think about like, if I attach all these things, will my stroller still fold up properly? Because that's then going to add time every time you have to like remove all these accessories to fold up your stroller. Just things to consider. Storage console for parents. This is a must for me. Whether it's your diaper bag, whether it's a blanket, like an extra blanket in the winter, or park toys, like sand toys to put under it. 100%. Oh, wait, storage console. Okay, wait, I read this as 2 ways. It could be the underneath pocket, which is how I read it, but it could also be like across the handlebars, somewhere for you to put like a cup or your wallet or something like that. Both of them I deem necessary, although the underneath would be more necessary than that one because you could just carry a purse, but I'd say look for one that has both. Stroller hooks. I don't think these are necessary. I guess unless you don't have that under the store, like underneath the stroller bin. But you want to be careful with these too. Like you want to make sure that what you're putting on that hook doesn't weigh more than your stroller itself. Like you don't want it to tip with your baby in it. I wouldn't say get a stroller hook. Standing platform, stroller attachment for older kids. Okay, this is one of those moments that like, if this is your first baby, I feel like this is kind of soon to be like chill girlfriend. This is your first baby. However, if it's your second baby and you already have a stroller system that you love, this would be a perfect gift, I think, depending on the age of your children. Infant and or convertible car seat. So now that we're getting into the car seats, similar to the stroller, it's another big investment piece that you kind of want to put thought into, and you want to choose it kind of in hand with your stroller, so that if you want them to be able to click, you want to check that compatibility before you purchase it. There's pros and cons of both. Off the top of my head, infant car seats, again, can often be combined in travel systems. However, they'll likely only last 1 year before your child outgrows the weight and height restrictions, and then you'll have to get a convertible car seat. However, convertible car seats are bulkier and heavier. They don't clip in and out as easily of the car. We actually have 2 car seats. We did get, well, now I guess we only have the one for her, but even when she was little, like under a year old, we had 2 car seats. So we had our infant car seat, which was kind of the everyday when we were at home car seat. It clips into the Baby Zen yo-yo. The next one that we got, which she's actually still fits in now, is the Costco Sonera Next car seat. It is one of the lightest weight car seats on the market. It's a convertible car seat, so it can go forwards or backwards, safe from newborn up to, I'd have to look at the restrictions again, but Elisa's almost 2 and still fitting it perfectly fine. And it is FAA approved, which means you can bring it on airplanes. When we have to get another car seat, it's going to be a whole nother batch of research because we, like I said, we don't have a car. We do use Communo Auto, which is a car share service. But what it means is that like when I book a car, I have to lug the car seat with me to get there. So yeah, maybe on Instagram, I'll show you kind of that journey of when we get the next car seat. Extra car seat base, not necessary for us, obviously, but if you're a family with 2 cars, it would be nice to just have the base installed in both, so you can click the infant car seat in either or. Car seat head and body support. I'm not 100% sure what this is referring to, but anything that doesn't come with your car seat, like in the box, should not be added to the car seat. The safety standards are done as the car seat is in the box. So anything you add could lower the safety of the car seat. Seat protector mat. I can see how this would be beneficial if you had your own car. Crumbs get down there. pee can get down there, water, juice, whatever you're giving your child could probably like end up on your seat. And this would be nice to keep your car clean, but definitely situational. I think waterproof seat liner. I mean, for an older kid, yes, like when potty training, yes. But like, to be honest, even with the blowouts we had with Elisa, which like when we moved to Ontario, like a lot of poop explosions, everything kind of absorbs into the car seat or their clothes. So I can't really see something like leaking right through the car seat to like the vehicle seat. Car mirror. This is like one of those mirrors that you can attach to the back of the seat so that when you look in your rearview mirror, it reflects and then you can see baby. I think this is super helpful if you're driving alone, for sure. Gives me some peace of mind. I mean, technically it's not necessary, but I would highly recommend. Car window shade. A lot of cars these days have these built in. You can also just use a blanket kind of through the window. Like you roll the window down a bit, stick a blanket, roll it back up. We did that while traveling quite a bit. If you have your own car, yeah, that'd be handy, but not a need. Car seat bunting or cover. Along with not adding anything to the car seat that didn't come with it, you want to make sure you're not adding bulky layers in between baby and the straps. However, you're better off using a blanket to keep baby warm or a cover over the car seat. Toys for car seat and stroller. If you're having a baby shower, don't buy these. These are fun for like, everyone loves to gift these, so you'll get them. And babies don't need a lot of toys at that age, so travel bags for car seat and stroller. This I would say you don't really need unless you plan on traveling. If you plan on traveling, then yes, you want to have something to cover your stuff when you check it into the traveling. If you are flying with your stroller, most airlines do require you put it in the bag. At least if you're bringing it on the plane, like to put in the overhead. And if you are checking a car seat, the safest way to check it is to have it in the original box. So if you plan on doing that, don't throw out the box. We need a coffee break. Baby carrier. I've had quite a few baby carriers. This, I say, it's a must. I would definitely deem it a must-have. However, it can be tricky. Babies have different likes. You're gonna have different likes on what you find comfortable, what you don't find comfortable. We've gone through 4 different carriers, I think. So I would say maybe try and get something secondhand if you can find it until you find out if baby likes it, and then you can kind of look more if you want something more durable. There's also different types, like you can get wraps, you can get the structured ones, you can get ring slings we use now. It's just about preference, but I would highly recommend to get one. A baby swing, hit or miss. Elisa loved it for like 1 minute and then was done. Nope, didn't want anything to do with it. Some babies absolutely love them. So I would say try and get it secondhand if you do plan on getting one. This also comes into play with like how much space you have. If you don't have a lot of space, I wouldn't recommend getting a swing to take up more, like to take up that limited space. A bouncer or a rocker, we did not have one. However, I wish we did. Just to free our hands up a little more. However, looking back, like I don't think it would have been as useful where there was like a big dog at my parents' house and I wouldn't feel comfortable like putting her in the bouncer and just having the dog around. Keep in mind, like if you're going to purchase one, they're only going to be content in it for about 3 to 4 months before they kind of outgrow that. So yeah, just keep that in mind when you're looking at planning on budgeting for one. But think about like if you're in the shower, this is a great place to have them strapped in, like in the bathroom with you, so you can keep an eye on them and you know they're safe. Same with like if you're just cooking dinner or doing the dishes, it's just somewhere handy to like place baby so you have a minute to yourself. An entertainer or jumper. If you have seen any of our videos from when Elisa was like under a year old, I 100% recommend a jolly jumper. I do not have one to give because Elisa broke it from jumping so much, but that means that we didn't buy one straight out. Like you can find these secondhand and they are like over like 50% off the regular price. So play yard, if this is like a pack and play, you already know our feelings on this. It's where like it's our primary place where Elise would sleep. We deemed it an investment piece, but they can get pricey. So to each their own. I don't know. I mean, I'm like looking at this and thinking maybe like babies are supposed to play in it. Elisa only sat in there with her toys like once to play and it did not last long. Like someone once said that we're like free range parenting. Like Elisa is able to explore a lot. Yeah, I'm just thinking like free range parenting pretty much. So I don't really know. Play yard sheets. This kind of goes in the crib sheets, so yes, you're gonna want sheets to be able to change the mattress pad of the pack and play. Diaper bag for mom. Wait, diaper bag for dad? I mean, if you live in the same house, I would say just get a gender neutral bag that either mom or dad could use. I feel like, okay, I say that, but then it's kind of hypocritical because I did buy like a nice girly bag for when we were going out to like fancier places. I don't know, just get one diaper bag that you can put your stuff in. I do recommend getting like a backpack version though, so that your hands are free, so you can push stroller, hold baby, whatnot. Changing mat, yes, you are gonna want one or two. These are just like the thin mats that you can put in the diaper bag or store in the car. Okay, we are more than we're about halfway through actually. Yeah, so we're getting there. We are getting there. Next chapter, chapter 3, nursing and feeding, breast pump and accessories. If you plan on breastfeeding, the minimum I would say is get yourself a Haka. Even if you only use it that first night, your baby sleeps a longer stretch than you're used to, and you're in agony from engorgement, it's 100% worth it. When it comes to other pumps, there's a whole variety between like manual, single, electric, double, different brands. I would really just encourage you to do your research and think about how often you plan on using it. That'll really affect kind of what quality or grade of pump you choose to get. Like if you're planning on exclusively bottle feeding, you're going to want to really like a higher quality than if you plan on pumping maybe once a day. Yeah, also check with your insurance company. Often they will cover it if it's prescribed by a doctor. Breast milk storage containers. A fair number of women choose to pump to build up like a storage supply in their freezers for all other occasions when they are not available to feed. So I personally have found that the bags work well for me, but I don't know if there's any other storage items. I do recommend that make sure it's very well sealed and lay it flat when you put it in the freezer, and then once it freezes, you can stand it upright. It'll just get like the thinnest layer so that it takes up less space in the freezer and it thaws faster. Steam sterilizer bags, I don't know, we just did it the old-fashioned way with boiling water. I mean, probably easier with a sterilizer bag. Nursing bras, pads, soothing ointments, and gel pads. I lived in nursing bras, honestly, until like a couple months ago, so I definitely recommend getting more than just like a couple. They also tend to get dirty faster than I feel like regular bras do because you've got leaks, baby will spit up on it. Nursing pads, I tend to use the reusable ones because I can just throw them in the wash and better for the environment, blah, blah, blah. Never use gel pads. Nothing that a bag of frozen peas can't cover. Nursing pillow and cover. Some people swear by these. I never had one. I just used like a regular pillow. Nursing stool. Isn't this what the recliner was for? I don't know what a nursing stool is. Again, just use the rocking chair. Formula. If you plan on formula feeding, I would just get like one canister to begin with maybe. Because it can be a baby preference thing. Some babies don't like certain types of formula. Even if you don't plan on using formula, I would recommend having some kind of like ready to feed formula on hand, just in case. Like just in case your milk doesn't come in right away, or it's the middle of the night and your baby is still screaming in hunger. Also, if you sign up for, I think it's Similac Canada, they'll send you a free package with like some ready-made formula and a whole canister, like for free. Formula dispensers. I can't really speak on this one because we pretty much exclusively breastfed. But if you're planning to exclusively formula feed, I've heard really good things about the Baby Breza, which is kind of like a Keurig for formula. Age of 12 bottles and nipples. No. I honestly, no. Well, yes, but no. So I would say no, don't put this on your baby registry beforehand. Actually, if you go back to watch, I think it's the finances video. I'll link whichever video it is here. I talk about how to use a baby registry to your advantage, and I would not recommend putting that many bottles and nipples on your baby registry for other people to potentially purchase. Babies are very picky when it comes to bottles and nipples, and you don't know which one they're going to take to before they're here. So get a little variety pack to try different brands and types. And then once you know baby will drink from that, then you can get more. Watch that video to find out how you can get more at a discounted price. Bottle warmer, nice to have, not need to have. Actually, I've heard that sometimes it takes longer to heat the bottle up in the bottle warmer than to just do it yourself. Bottle sterilizer, also nice to have. We got by without using one, just doing the old-fashioned way. I think though, if you are bottle feeding, like these things would be more like higher up on the yes, definitely get it list, just for convenience and time factor. Insulated bottle, tote, and or reusable ice pack. A lot of diaper bags have a pocket that is that kind of insulated, or you can just use a lunchbox. Bottle brush. You don't have to buy like a specific baby bottle brush. They sell them like for like adult water bottles too. So definitely I would say get one though, because it's much easier to clean the inside of bottles and inside of like the nipples. Drying rack. This is super helpful to make sure that you get the proper air circulation when drying your bottles. I mean, we still use ours for like drying water bottles and stuff. So dishwasher basket. We didn't have a dishwasher for bottles, but I mean, if your items are safe for dishwasher, then that would be helpful. High chair. This is something else that like if you have space to store it, because you're not going to need it till about 6 months, then by all means put it on your registry, because they can get pricey. Again, this is up there with like stroller, car seat. There's a huge range of prices. Do a lot of research and do try to look for one that kind of is ergonomical seating, so that baby like has a footrest and is comfortable when you start your feeding journey. A booster seat. We had one. I actually don't even know where it is now. It was at my parents' house, that doubled as like a play center and a booster seat that you could just attach to a chair. Splat mat. This sounds like a great idea in theory, but honestly, if you just like, unless you have carpet, it's just as easy to just clean the floor as to clean the mat and the floor, because baby will, like, guarantee baby will get food off the mat as well. Make your own baby food gear. Another thing you want to research, and I mean, just consider what you plan on doing, whether you plan on doing purees or baby led weaning or a combination of the two. I don't think you need a specific blender or anything like that. Like, you can make do with things that you already have. I honestly don't have much experience with this, because we did go with like starting solids. Baby food cookbooks. Guys, there's Google. Just use the internet. Infant bowls and spoons. Another space saving situation. If you have room to store them right now, then by all means put them on your registry. It'll save you money in the long run. 6 to 8 toddler cups. We definitely did not have this many. I think 2 or 3 is plenty. And then like as Elisa got older, we've moved to like reused glass yogurt containers. Feeder for strained foods. I recommend to follow solid starts. Burp cloths. If these are receiving blankets, then yes, very multi-purpose. But if they're the tiny burp cloths just for your newborn, like, they grow them really fast. Like, after a while, those burp cloths will do pretty much nothing, because their spit up is so much more than that tiny space, which is why I would recommend receiving blankets. Bibs, again, I would wait until you start solids or have storage space. But do yourself a favor, like, don't get the cloth ones. Get like a silicone one that's easily cleaned. 4 to 6 pacifiers. Personal preference. At least I didn't like them. This is similar to bottles. Like, get a few different brands to see if your baby likes them. 2 to 3 teethers. The best ones we found are the ones that you can put in the fridge to cool down. But yeah, I'd say 2 to 3 is enough. Snack dispenser. Any container will work. Honestly, even the spill-proof ones, they'll find a way to spill them. To go in storage containers, just use what you've got. Like, use your own Tupperware container. Disposable placemats. Honestly, we're not big on placemats. It is just easier to clean the table. Like, if you have an expensive table, then yeah, I could see, or like a material that's hard to clean, it would totally, yeah, like to protect your furniture, but like, it's going to be just as much work to wipe down the table as it would a placemat. Number 4, bath and potty. A baby bathtub, yes, if you have space, then otherwise go to the next, which is a bath support. So if you have a big enough sink to bathe your baby, like your newborn, in the sink, do that, just to save space on like buying a baby bathtub. We didn't have a sink big enough to bathe baby, and it wasn't very user friendly to like use a baby bathtub with a newborn. Baby shampoo and wash, yes, and like especially just like fragrance free. Their skin is so sensitive. You don't want any like harsh chemicals. Diapers in progressive sizes, yes, whether you're going cloth or disposable. If you have space, stock up, but not too many cases per size. They grow really fast, and you don't want to be left with like 5 boxes of leftover size newborn or size 1. Diaper pails and refills. So this is like a diaper genie. This depends on your situation. When we lived in Halifax, we lived in a studio apartment with a garbage chute right outside our apartment. So we weren't going to get a diaper genie. Like, it was just as easy to throw it in the garbage. However, when we moved in with my parents, we were grateful that we were gifted a diaper genie, because garbage then meant like going downstairs outside of the house out to the garbage bin. Even now, like, that would be the case here. So it was super helpful in the long run to like have a diaper genie for like just mask the odors of like a midnight poopy diaper. It's a convenience factor. Wipes warmer. No, in fact, just no, we did not. And in fact, if you wipe the cold wipe on their belly before removing the diaper, you have less chances of having a pee accident, because the cold will make them pee before you remove the diaper. Shampoo rinse cup. I mean, just use a cup you have. I don't know, like, if you have a plastic container of any kind, just use that. Bath toys. They really can't play with toys in the bath until they're closer to a year, maybe, like once they can sit up at least, which is great. I put these on like her first birthday gift list and it worked perfect. Just try and get the ones that like don't have the hole in the bottom, something that's easy to clean. All of our bath toys can go in the dishwasher, and they do about once a week, just so that they don't harbor mold. Bath toy storage. I say no to this because it will encourage you to buy more bath toys. Bathtub spout cover, no personal preference. We just keep Elisa away from the tap, but it might be nice to have something rubber that they don't like bonk their head on the metal. Bath kneeler, we just use the bath mat we already have. 4 to 6 hooded towels. Okay, yes, but like not that many. We do like maybe 3. 6 to 8 baby washcloths. Yes. Even if you're, so like as a newborn, we use these as washcloths, and now as she gets older, we use them for like cleaning up after solids. And now that she's even older, we use them like as a hanky for when she has a sore nose, like when she has a cold or whatnot, and the tissues are just like her nose is so red. It's nice to just be able to use like a cloth that's nice and soft on her nose. And then obviously we wash it, but like, yeah. Safety and health. I'm just trying to push us through here, guys. Baby monitor. Yes, if you feel it's necessary, or if you live on like a multi-floor house. In a studio apartment, we weren't going to get one. We moved to Ontario to a 2-bedroom house. We did purchase one. And now, like, that Elise is in a big girl room and her big girl bed, honestly, it's better. Like, the video is more important to us than the sound at this point, because we can see if she's like climbing furniture, which she hasn't, knock on wood. Everything's bolted anyways, but safety gates. Yes, not necessarily like in every room by any means, but if you have stairs, we have a baby gate to lock off like our office space so she can't touch like camera equipment, Dally's whole office space. Honestly, it's just a lot of electronics we keep over there. Safety locks, covers, and cushions. Personal preference with how far you go. The only thing that we really have in our house for like that kind of safety is we have the baby gate for the electronics section, and we have the outlet covers, which I do highly recommend. Oh, and then yes, all of the furniture is anchored when they start climbing. Oh, that's the next step. Anyways, but yeah, we didn't put like soft corners on the table corners. Like, we just kind of went with the like, be aware of your surroundings and look where you're going. And like there's going to be bonks and scrapes. I mean, especially Elisa went through a growth spurt and all of a sudden realized she couldn't walk onto the table like she could before. They learn quick. And I'm not saying, like, obviously don't leave like dangerous items out for them, but when it comes to like the corners of rooms or things like that, like, you can't protect them from everything, and they will have to learn about their surroundings as they get older. Furniture and television straps. So everything I said about the first one about like kids learning whatever, this is an absolute must. Yes, you need to bolt your furniture. Like, your dressers need to be bolted to the wall. Any shelving units bolted to the wall. Kids go through, it's a natural developmental milestone as they enter toddlerhood to go into this like climbing phase, and there may be some like tumbles like off the couch or whatnot, but the last thing you want is for the furniture to be tumbling on them. So yes, bolt your things to the walls. Humidifier, lifesaver when they're congested with a cold. Thermometer, hands down, yes. Your child is going to get sick at some point. They are going to get a fever at some point. You'll want to be able to know just to track if they still have a fever, if the medication's helping the fever come down. If they have a fever and you should give medication, you're gonna need a thermometer. Nasal aspirator, yes, especially the little babies. Like, they cannot blow their nose, as gross as it may sound. When they get congested, like, those boogers need to come out somehow. People swear by the nose, Frida. I could not wrap my head around it. So we do have an electronic aspirator that you just push the button and it's like a vacuum. But hands down, yes. Like, if your baby's congested, they cannot relieve that. And babies are nose breathers. So if they have their nose, like, they don't just switch to their mouth because their mouth is for eating. You got to make sure their nose is clear. First aid kit and medicines. Yes, your kid at some point will get a diaper rash or a fever, and the last thing you want is to have to go to the store in the middle of the night to get that medication. That being said, like, don't stock up because medications do expire and you don't want to be like hoarding all this stuff. But like, one of the most common, so like maybe one pain reliever, fever reliever, and one thing of diaper rash cream. Nail clippers and emery boards. Yeah, man, their nails grow fast. Like, I have to cut Elisa's nails once a week at least. When they're little, like when she was like sleeping in our arms, I would cut her nails while she was asleep. So much easier. Now we're getting better. Sometimes it's a focus thing, so she has like a book to read while I do it. Baby toothbrush and teething gel. Yes, from the time of their first tooth, you want to be brushing twice a day. A brush and comb. Yes, well, they may not have much hair. Actually, just our kid doesn't have much hair. Other kids have loads of hair. But anyways, it can tangle quickly, and especially when you've started like food can get in there. You just want to comb it out so that there's no tangles. Chemical-free cleaning supplies, especially for things that like they could be putting in their mouths. Yeah. Gentle laundry detergent and stain stick. Stain stick I think is more for us, but we did have to switch to a gentle laundry detergent with Elisa. She actually had a huge eczema flare out just from one piece of clothing that was, and not even on her, like someone else was wearing clothing that had been washed in Tide, and she ended up having a huge breakout. We ended up switching all of our detergent to a gentle, baby-friendly one. Maybe she'll grow out a bit. We'll see. Shopping cart, restaurant high chair cover. I just used the nursing cover. So if you get like the tube nursing covers, you can literally stick it and use it as a restaurant high chair cover. Number 6, toys and learning activities. This one we're just going to like bam through. Activity mats and gyms. Yes, somewhere safe you can put baby down for tummy time, but keep them, like if you have animals around or anything, keep an eye on them. Rattles and take-along toys. Yeah, maybe 1 or 2. They're great for in the car. Developmental toys. This kind of depends on your goals and the resources available to you and just like how much you want to invest into this. If you are on a budget, you can find things around your house. Like even now, there are things like, we don't buy like sensory bins, like Elisa can play with rice, or like spatial awareness, like Tupperware containers, matching lids to different containers. That's literally like a developmental aspect in itself. So there are ways that you can do it with what you have. If you do have the budget, or you want to, or you're looking for gift ideas, there are play kits designed just for this. Love Every is one that I've heard of that has great reviews that will cater like to your child's developmental milestones that they're like working on. But you can find a lot of things in your house that will just fill that need as well. So CDs. Does anyone use CDs anymore? You can use YouTube, Spotify, whatever else you play your music on. Books, yes. I highly recommend. It is a daily part of our lives. From birth, they like to hear your voice. So even if they don't understand what you're saying, I highly do recommend like continue reading to them. Stuffed animals. Babies can't really play with these, so I'd stay away from them until they're maybe like around their first birthday. But even then, like, she somewhat plays with them, but they just kind of sit around. So I would just avoid stuffed animals, maybe 1 or 2, but like just for them to snuggle with. But extra batteries, hands down, if you are getting a swing or something that the baby loves that needs batteries, yes, have backups. DVDs. First off, who uses DVDs anymore? DVDs. Okay, this seems a little outdated. Secondly, screen time isn't, I'm like saying this is, again, Health Canada, screen time isn't recommended for children under the age of 2. But thirdly, and more importantly, like, there's streaming services. Like, our sanity's at stake sometimes, but like, there's YouTube, and there's Netflix, and there's whatever else streaming services. I would just use what you already have. Last topic, newborn essentials. Let's dive in. 4 to 6 side snaps, tees. No, zippers. Just get zippers. Forget the buttons. I don't care how cute it is, forget the buttons. 4 to 8 bodysuits. These are like the onesies, I'm going to assume. Yes. Newborns, just live in them all the time. 1 to 2 caps. Yes, if your kid has no hair, honestly, even in the summer, they're going to need a hat. They might not keep it on, but at least you've tried. 9 to 12 pairs of socks. As a baby, Elisa never wore socks, like wouldn't keep them on. Now, yes, I feel like that's accurate, but if they're born in the winter, like, yeah, get socks anyways, try and keep them on. 6 to 8 receiving or swaddling blankets. These are my ones that I'm like, yes, yes, yes. We use them to cover up the car seat. We use them as burp cloths. She takes them to daycare for like her summer blankie. You lay them down on the floor for the baby to lay on. These are just so multi-purpose. I highly recommend. 1 to 2 wearable blankets. These are also known as sleep sacks. These are the safest option for babies under the age of 1, as you don't want anything loose in the crib. That's a whole topic in itself. They have different thicknesses, different types. 2 to 4 gowns. Okay, I do feel like this is on the higher end. However, like when I'm thinking about it, they are super handy. Like whether you have a boy or girl, whatever, like it's kind of like a nightgown. It makes diaper changes really easy in the middle of the night. 4 to 8 footies. If they won't keep socks on, hands down, just get the pants that have the socks built in. It'll save your sanity. 4 to 8 pairs of pants. Yes. Coming home outfit, personal preference, and especially like the cost, this can vary a lot. You could put them in just a regular outfit. You could put them in like pricier outfit if you want. Nice to have, not need to have. Seasonal clothing, bunting, swimsuit, jackets, dress-up outfit, etc. Yes, if it's winter, unless you plan on staying inside all season, which would not be good for your mental health or your baby or your body, then yeah, you're going to need a bunting snowsuit type situation. Even for your little one, it doesn't necessarily have to be like the waterproof, but just something nice and warm that you can bundle up. I'll insert a picture here of Elisa in her little pink snowsuit. Piggy bank? No, I mean, I say no, but then we have one. It's mainly just for decor, but she does put money in it, and it's actually a good developmental milestone. I don't know. Nice to have. By no means need to have. Photo albums. For the most part, everything's digital. If you want to get a photo album, sure. And actually ties into the next thing, keepsake memory book. So I said no photo albums, but like yes for a memory book. I just think for that first year of life, everything changes so much, and you'll want to remember it. Also, like, there are times, like, if you have to see a neurologist, like, 8 years down the road, they're going to ask you things like, when did your child start walking? And when did they say their first words? And without a memory book, I think it could be easy to forget. Pregnancy pillow. Yes, I slept with this for ages after I gave birth. I slept for this the entire amount of my pregnancy. It doubled as a breastfeeding pillow. Pregnancy and postpartum skincare. Personal preference. You do you. Choose what you want. Just make sure that you're taking care of your skin and that what you are using is pregnancy and postpartum friendly. Pregnancy and parenting books, personal preference. I've mentioned my recommendations previously. If you have questions or you want to know more about what they are, leave a comment down below. We've come to the end. That was a doozy. I hope that that's helped if you are in your journey of planning a baby registry, that's helped you with what you may need, what you may not, what you can skip. Some questions to think of that you maybe haven't thought about to help you get the most bang for your buck and really plan for this exciting time. If you have any other questions, like I said, just leave them down below and I'll answer them in the comments. Also, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. It really does support my channel. And if you liked it, go ahead and subscribe. Join us on our future journeys. Again, we will get back to travel after we're done with the series, which is quickly coming to a close. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, life is what happens between the plans that you make. Bye, guys.